Welcome back, my dear students. Hope all of you are doing well. You are safe and sound. Let's start with our third online class. Before we start, I'd suggest you to get ready with your rough book, pen, and whatever you need. Today we are going to talk about a very important topic in grammar: subject-verb agreement. You have already learned about this. However, we will try to remember those basic ideas and learn a few more. Okay, let's dive in. In today's class, we will know what subject-verb agreement is. We will also try to understand why it is important to talk about it. After that, we will revise a few rules or agreements that we have already learned before and add a few more to it. So what is subject-verb agreement? All of us are familiar with the word subject and verb. We know the definition, we know how to identify them. Also, we know the word agreement. If you agree to some point with someone else, you call it an agreement. Here, the subjects and the verbs follow a group of rules, a set of rules which we discuss under the heading of subject-verb agreement. The subject and the verbs are the most important elements of a sentence. The characteristics of the subject should be reflected in the verb. That means, whatever the subject, the verb should reflect the characteristics. Now, what do I mean by characteristics? They are the person, they are the number. The relation between the subject and the verb depends on two issues: person and number. Person, first person, second person, third person. First persons, for example, I, we. Second person, for example, you. Third person, for example, he, she, them, or any name. The verb of a sentence must be in agreement with the subject in regard to person and number. That means the verb must follow the subject in regard to the person and number. If we try to understand it more, let us put it like this. If the subject is singular, the verb must be singular. If the subject is plural, the verb must be plural. This is the very basic rule of subject-verb agreement, and almost all of us know it. If I try to elaborate with an example, I think it will be more clear. Look at this. In the first picture or in the sentence, if you read, two dogs are sitting on the grass. This one is the subject, two dogs, and here are is the verb. Two dogs, it is a plural subject. Following that, the verb is also plural. We do not say two dogs is sitting on the grass, because the verb and subject must have an agreement. That means If the subject is plural, the verb should be plural. In this example, a dog, only one dog, singular number. It is followed by a singular verb, is. We do not say, a dog are sitting on the grass. We don't. That means a singular subject will always be followed by a singular verb. I think we are clear about it. Let's move on to the next slide. Why is it important to talk about subject-verb agreement? We will know about it, we will think about it. Subject-verb agreement errors are very common. No one wants to be mistaken or make a mistake. It is very important in this regard that if we learn it properly, there is a chance that we make less mistakes. Also, if you look at it from the exam point of view, you get editing a passage where you get different words wrong. Those are, in most of the cases, are based on subject-verb agreement. Subject-verb agreement is very important because without it, the reader can be confused. If you look at this example, the sentence below has incorrect subject-verb agreement. If your subjects and verbs disagree, you does not sound good. Does it sound good? It does not. The reason is, after you, we do not use does. We use do. Why? Well, for that, we need to know the rules that we are going to discuss now. Remember, most of the rules are already known to us. What are we going to do then? We are trying to identify them. Identify the rules that we have been already following for years. Well, the first rule says that singular subjects take singular verbs and plural subjects take plural verbs. We have already discussed this. This is the basic rule of subject-verb agreement. Let us look at a few more examples. He goes to work by bus. He is the subject. Goes is the verb. He is, the word he is singular number, and following that the verb has taken the singular form. Let us read the second sentence. They visit us every other week. They is the subject. It is plural in number. Verb visit. It is following the subject and it is also a plural number. Now there is an exception. After the word you, a plural verb is required. For example, you are listening to my class. Yes, you are. You are listening to my class. You, even if it is singular or plural, for all the cases we use are. We do not say, you is listening to my class. No, we do not use that. Let us move on to the next rule. The rule says, when the subject is a noun phrase consisting of a singular noun as head word and a modifier containing one or more plural nouns, the verb agrees with the singular head word. Now this is long. This is a long sentence to take in. So we will break phrase by phrase. What is phrase? We already know that phrase is a group of words. Now, if we take a noun phrase where the whole group of words acts as a noun, we call it a noun phrase. That means in this subject we have more than one word. When a subject is a noun phrase consisting of a singular noun, that means this noun phrase we are going to talk about has one singular noun as a head word and a modifier containing one or more plural nouns. That means in the same noun phrase you have more nouns, but they are not head word of the phrase and they are more than one. That means they are plural number. In that case, what should we do? The verb should agree with the singular head word. Well, let us look at the example, it will be clear. The author of 24 comic albums is present here today. Now this part, the author of 24 comic albums, this is the subject of the sentence. This is a noun phrase which consists of this head word, the author. We are talking about the author, we are not talking about the 24 comic albums. This is modifying the head word, head noun, the noun here in this sentence. And if you notice that this is plural, but this one, the head word is singular. Following that, we are using the verb in singular number. The author of 24 comic albums is present here today. We do not say are present here. So be very careful about it. By the way, who is this person? The author of 24 comic albums. Keep guessing. Let us move on to the next rule. Rule 3. Let us read this first. Subordinate clauses that comes between subject and verb don't affect the agreement. Look at this sentence. The author who has published 24 comic albums is present here today. Subordinate clause can be removed without affecting the main clause. In this example, the main clause is the author is present here today. And this part, who has published 24 comic albums, is a subordinate clause. This subordinate clause has been used between the subject, the author, and the verb is. Whatever the subordinate clause, if it is singular or plural, it does not change the verb or the rule that the subject or the verb must follow. That means the basic rule. The singular subject is followed by a singular verb. A plural subject is followed by a plural verb. The subordinate clause does not affect or change the rule. That means here, look at this. The author is a singular number. And 24 comic albums is a plural number. But this has been used in a subordinate clause. That's why it is again a singular verb. Have you guessed it? The person is the man who created Tintin. I think some of you are a great fan of Tintin, aren't you? Let's move on to the next one. Two subjects joined by and take a plural verb. Look at the example first. This one is a subject, my friend. This one is another subject of the sentence. That means here in this sentence there are two subjects. That means here in this sentence there are two subjects, my friend and I. When two subjects are joined by and, the verb is generally plural. That means more than one person. That's why the verb is plural. This is pretty simple. Let us move on to the next one. The fifth one says, the two subjects separated by and, but referring to the same person or thing as a whole, take a singular verb. The previous rule we have just discussed and this one are similar but very much different. The two subjects here in this sentence also there are two subjects, the director, artist. They are separated by and. That means they are joined by and, but referring to the same person or thing. Now, if the director and the artist refer to the same person, that means the director and the artist of the movie is the same person. It is not referring to two different persons. The director and the artist are same one. But if it refers to two different persons or things, then the verb will be plural. Now let us look at this rule. The verb is singular when each, every, or no comes before the subject. Read the sentence. Every participant was asked to complete the survey. We can see that we have used every and the subject is participant. Every participant. Now look at this verb. It is singular. When we use these words, the verb must be in singular number. I think all of you are noting this down. It will be really helpful when you. This one says that if the subjects are both singular and are connected by words like or, nor, neither nor, either or, not only but also, etc., the verb is singular. You have noticed that these conjunctions generally takes two subjects. Now, if the subjects are both singular, this one and this one are singular number. Tea and coffee are uncountable numbers. We consider it as singular nouns. neither tea singular nor coffee singular is available here. Both are single, both the subjects are single, tea and coffee. Neither of them is available. We use the verb in singular form. In this rule, if the subjects joined by or nor are different persons, the verb agrees with the nearer one. In this case, we were talking about a same person. If you notice this slide, you will see that we are using these conjunctions or, nor, but they are helping to join different persons. The verb agrees with the nearer one. What does it mean? Let us look at this example. Either you or I am mistaken. We do not say either you or I are mistaken. No, we don't. Maybe you are thinking that it is following this rule, that if it is connected by neither nor and both the subjects are singular, the verb should be singular. But don't forget, you looks same in plural form. Either you or I am mistaken. In this next sentence, either you or they are mistaken. Now, this one is nearer to the verb. This is plural and the verb is also plural. This one is singular or maybe plural. This one is singular. This is near to the verb am. This verb am is following the number of this subject. And here in this case, the verb is following this subject. Let us move on to the next slide. This is another one. This is a very easy one. Units of measurement or time takes singular verb. Kilometers, minutes are all measurements, units of measurement. We use a singular verb even if it is plural. It takes singular verb even if the subject is plural or looks like plural. 5 minutes. You may say that it is a plural number. It doesn't matter in this case. Even if it is singular or plural, we are talking about time. We are following the verb is. That means we are saying that 5 minutes is left for this class. We are not saying 5 minutes are left for this class. That is wrong. With this, we are going to end our session. But before that, we must practice. Without practice, we will never remember the rules that we have just discussed. Now it's time for exercise. Here you can see 10 questions in front of you. You can note them down and solve them. Now it is exercise time. Here you have 10 questions. We have discussed a few rules. On the basis of that, we have few questions in front of us. Let us solve this. Once we solve, we will feel confident about it. You will get this worksheet or homework on studies. It will be uploaded on studies separately, so do not worry. Write them down in your classwork book and try to solve them. Maybe you are thinking that this is very confusing. Initially it is, but if you practice a lot, you will feel confident. Write this down neatly in your classwork book with proper margin. Don't forget your index and try to solve these questions. We will come back with another session on subject-verb agreement. We will discuss a few more rules that will help you to make your language better and without any error. All the best. Have a nice day. Thank you.